Okay, so someone asked me a question about uh, how to set up if they had a whole bunch of different SKUs that they purchased at different dates, and they want to put in their cost of goods sold in each line of each sale. So, for example, they bought cars. As we can see, these dates are off, so we'll just change that to short date. They bought the car on 1/1/2016 and also on 2/1/2016. Over here, they bought 3 units at $1, and over here, they bought 6 units at $2. So they want that when they make a sale for the actual price that they paid to show up over here in their sales. This is their sales. Okay, so we're just going to put this down as sales. Now this is going to use a lot of pretty advanced Excel concepts for some people, but see if you can follow along and you might learn something new. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to just take this and we're going to insert table, and we're going to make this into a table. The table does have headers, so we're going to hit OK over there, and we're going to insert a table over here as well. And this table also has headers. Okay, so this is our purchases table, and this is our sales table. Next, what we're going to first have to do is we're going to first try to figure out, we have to put this into the date format, so we're going to do that as well. Now, we want to figure out, I'm just going to move the date column over here. There we go. We first want to figure out the total sales that you sold of any given unit at any given time. So this is sorted in date by date, and we're going to create a new column, and we're going to call this total sales. So what we have to do is we have to figure out for this SKU, how many sales have been sold so far. So here we have 3 units were sold on the first day. That means before today, 0 units were sold, and today, at the end of this sale, there were 3 units sold. So this would obviously be 3. Now over here it would have to be 4 because it's again the SKU car and it's 1 more unit, so 1 plus 3 is 4. If we go down over here, 2 more units were sold and that would be 6. Because we have to keep a running count of how much we've sold of each unit in order to be able to know how much we paid for each unit. So how are we going to figure this out? So we're going to use a formula called sumifs. And sumifs tells Excel like this. Okay? First it says, this is the area that I want you to get a count from. Let's do a new sumifs over here. Let's do a side sumifs. We're just going to go here and we're going to do sumifs. And we're going to tell Excel, look in this column called units. Look over here in units. And I want you to look in SKU and only get me the SKU that matched the criteria called car. So we put in 3 and we get 8, which means we've bought 8 units of car, right? You can see we sold 8 units of car. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. So once again, it says look in table for units. That's the blue over here. That's where I want you to get your calculation from, and I want you to add up all the units where the word car is in the SKU row. So if you look in the SKU row, if it has the word car, then add the unit. If not, it doesn't. So that's what sumifs does for us. So in this case, really what we just need to do is we have to create a sumifs for car, but the sumifs can only be on what's on top of this line. So this should get a sumifs from all this, and this should get a sumifs from all of that, and each one should get a sumifs starting from above it. So let's put that formula in here, and we're going to do equals sumifs, and we're going to say get the sum range of D3, okay, which is this box, D3 to D3, starting from D3 going to D3, okay? And I want you to look in the criteria of C3 and go to C3. And, whoops, that was a little mistake. C3 is C3. That's where I want you to look for the criteria. And the criteria has to match this current SKU. Okay? Now, we're going to fill this formula down. So, we want the starting point of D3 to always remain the same. We want the starting point of C3 to always remain the same. Because in this box, we're going to want it to say D3 to D4, D3 to D5, D3 to D6, C3 to C4. So, we're going to, the first D3, we want to be an absolute reference. So you just hit F4, and it puts in these little dollar symbols, which says, even when we fill the formula down, don't change this reference, keep it the same. And over here also we're going to say, even when we fill down, keep it the same. This D3 is going to change. It's going to D4, D5, D6, the C3 also, but the original reference will remain the same. So now we do this, and we get over here a 3. Over here we get a 4 because this is car as well, right? So sumifs looks from D3 to D4, okay? And it says in D3 to D4, wherever car is the SKU, add up the units. We got 4 units. Now over here it's dog. When it looks from D3 to D5, it finds only 2 units where it matches dog. Then we have D3 to D6 and D3 to D7 and so on and so forth. So this will tell us the total sales of the SKU at each line. 3 have been sold a car, 4 have been sold a car, 2 have been sold a dog, now 3 of dog, now 1 of horse, 2 of horse, etc., etc. So this is the first formula that you have to understand. We're using a sumifs, and we're making the beginning point always stay the top row, but the ending point goes down 1 row as we move down the rows. So that's how we find out our total sales. Now we could do the same thing over here when we want to find out our total units purchased. So we can go here and we can say what's our total purchased. And once again, we're going to do the same exact type of formula. We're going to go sumifs. You can really do sumif. I just like sumifs better because it's more versatile. You can use it with more things. And we're going to say the sum range over here is it's O3. And we're going to just put in O3. And remember, we're going to hit F4 because that's going to be an absolute reference. And then we're going to put an O3 again because that's what we want to change. Where are we going to look for our criteria? We're going to look in the M3, and we're going to hit F4, and then we have M3 because that's going to change. And we want the SKU to match the current SKU of this line. And then we hit that. Let's see. Oops, my mistake. I put a comma in here. I have to put a colon in here. And then when we hit enter, it's going to fill down. So we bought 3 car, that's 3. Then we bought another 6, so now it's 9. We bought 2 dogs, 5 dogs, that's 7. So now we have a running total of the total sales and the total purchase. So that's the beginning of this formula using sumifs, but using sumifs in a bit of a clever way. In the next video, we'll show how to take this to the next step and match up the price paid for the units in each sale with this table.